Well, hello everybody. It's Vince here tonight, all on my little lonesome again. Young Mark has been tied up at work, so we don't have that joyful, youthful exuberation, and you're just going to have to put up with a little old me. I hate that because effectively it means that I'm stuck here trying to do a show all by myself, and as a general presenter, I'm not really a good presenter as an individual. I much rather cooperate and talk and interact with people. So it does make things a lot more difficult. So tonight, I thought we would just take a little bit of a different journey. It won't be a super long one tonight. I'm pretty well had it for the day. We've been up to Adelaide and back again and done a bit of debate with my younger daughter, where we always tend to do that. It was actually more of a gentle discussion today, so that was a nice thing. But I thought we would spend just a little bit of time having a look at what is going on. What is our future? Even more point, so a lot more philosophical tonight. How can we see our future as a people going? How can we see our future as investors going? What sort of things are we going to be looking to do with? So I thought we'd head down that path. We'll have a little bit of a look at the charts. Of course, silver being the killer of it all at the moment. Silver's pretty much outperformed most things over the last year or so, including Bitcoin, which used to be as a long-ranging asset. Bitcoin was one of those assets that was the highest on the market for the best worth. But in this last year, silver has fully outperformed that significantly. Also thought that we might take a little bit of a wander into the AI ChatGPT and have a see what it says about what it thinks the future of crypto is, where it thinks would be good ideas to invest. Is AI going to be, as I saw one video say, the death of us all? So, Terminator conspiracy theory / stuff coming on there. So we might have a bit of a look around in there and see if it can throw any concepts that we can use to our advantage as we move forward. So I'd like to say hi to Jay in the chat. It's the only one I've got there. I know there's apparently 4 users. Hello, all 4 users, all viewers. So welcome along to today. Once again, I still have Charlie Kirk up there as a remembrance because it's all about discussion, people. It's about talking with other people and having discussions. That's the only way that we can ever actually move forward in anything we do. So with that, obviously, we need to look at the one and the only $750 lottery. And our probably last actual second prize winning with the Ainsley Bullion coins and at the particular coin holder that we made up for that. But that does not mean, the reason for that being, of course, is that second prize is now becoming so damn expensive to actually incorporate that we really can't afford to do that anymore. With running costs and bits and pieces. So effectively that second prize will probably disappear very shortly, although we still do have a couple of 1 gram ounces of gold that will be set out in special lotteries along the way. So for the Donkey Sanctuary, God Love Sandy and the Donkey Sanctuary, we have our $750 winning lottery. There we go. I am stuck in a groove. Lottery. Try that. And of course, a significant amount of those proceeds that we get from there goes towards helping those donkeys and helping Sandy look after those. They are a fully charitable organization, the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary, and you are able to go to their website if you so wish and just donate directly. Obviously, if you go through us with our lottery at merch.vofhq.com, and go to the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary things, that does assist us to keep things going here as well. So please, if you haven't already, buy yourself a ticket in this lottery, and with any luck, you might be the winner of $750. Now I just need to take that off the screen by clicking that one there and put my ugly mug back into play. So this is going to be a nice, quiet night, relaxing, which means I'm going to have a smoke on live, whatever. But I did want to bring up a couple of things. So I actually need to add that to the screen. And one of those is the actual sharing of. Now, it's interesting. When I co-host with Carl and I do that, it automatically adds it to the stage. But here I have to manually add it to the stage. So, and what we might do is actually kick me off the stage completely, but you can still hear me. So I wanted to bring up, and I said I was going to do this the other night, that we were going to have a look at silver. And silver, that is silver, right? Looking at it in the monthly chart, that is what it has done over the last few months, right? Going back from 1980 right up to here, where it peaked in 2011. And now what we can see is the massive climb up here where it's gone through. This thing is just continuing to rise. There was a little while ago I said that there was a possibility that it would drop slightly, and I did guess that, but it didn't stay there for long, which is not surprising. And even a lot of the crypto shows and stuff that I'm watching nowadays are talking about just how much silver as an asset has taken off and how much has outshone crypto in particular. In fact, crypto is not following the same pattern as the normal markets, which is interesting. So that decoupling could mean that we might not be at the end of this bull run after all, and we could be getting into something else. So let's go to our daily view of what crypto has done. So, I mean, of what silver has done. And in here, we can see quite clearly that it's growing and it's keeping to grow. What are the chances that it will actually hit? It will actually hit $100 Australian? Yeah, I think so. Quite possibly. Right, quite possibly it will hit $100 Australian somewhere over this Christmas break. So all good to see. So hello, Peg's Place, welcome. Margot, nice to see you here as well. Having a little chat. Chatting amongst yourselves, which is great. So one of the ones that I talked about the other day was I was talking about NUM protocol, which is a little area that I thought that needed to be fulfilled, and we will get into that in a little while. But I actually managed to clean up my chart a bit here because I had so many things, so it was fine. And I finally managed to pull in NUM protocol, and it's not a very impressive chart. If we look at it, that's where it's at. From when it started back in November to now, it's right down the bottom here. What's NUM protocol about? Well, they're all about identifying AI and who is a real person and who is a AI generated person on film. And how do we tell that? While we're looking at the videos that we see, which is why we move into this philosophical discussion. So if I just remove that, and look at that, I don't even, where am I? Oh, here. I'm getting as bad as Carl. Where are we going to be in the future? Where do you think that we will be? Having a smoke with you. Yay, good on you, mate. Good on you, Alan. I'm not supposed to be smoking, by the way, just to tell you that. I'm a bad, bad boy. It's been one of those days. So where are we going to end up? Right. Where is our future? What's going to happen over the next 10 to 20 years? We have a few things that are occurring both monetary and sociologically. And the environment that we live in is changing significantly to what it was 20 years ago. And one of the first places that is actually in work and the ability to find work, especially here in this country. Now, our government, as far as I know, and this is only my personal opinion, just so that YouTube can't take this down, our government likes to say that we do not have a huge amount of people unemployed. The question is, do we or don't we? Because how are they coming up with those stats? Now, if I'm correct in my understanding that if a person does even 1 hour of work, they don't get classed as unemployed. Even though they may still get the unemployment benefit, they do not actually get classed as unemployed according to the stats. Now, I could be totally wrong about that. It might be 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours, but even still, any amount of work, if it's not classed as unemployed, because you can't say somebody that works 2 hours a week or 4 hours a week or even 8 hours a week, you can't really call that gainfully employed, could you? Because as far as I see, that's not gainfully employed. Gainfully employed is when you're making enough money that you don't need unemployment benefits. That's the way I see it anyway. So really, just how many people are unemployed and how many people are going to become unemployed because something else is going to take their place, whether it be robotic machinery, whether it be AI in customer service, etc. So for us as a people, does that mean that we now really should start looking at a basic universal income? Isn't that what they wanted all along? And if we are going to have a basic universal income, how much is that income going to be? And is it going to be enough to survive on, or is it going to be enough to give you the occasional little pleasure? Also, if that's the case and we do find out that there are heaps and heaps of people unemployed, what are they going to do with their time? How are they going to find some sort of self-worth? Right, for me, it might be doing this, talking on YouTube or helping with the freedom fight or looking after Unity Hub. That's my self-worth. That's how I get it. Right, people understand what I'm doing. I like that. That's actually very true. Right, it's so hard to predict what's coming in our future, depending on how long we're around for. That's another good question, right? But why us older folks with much more wisdom and senility, we have to add the senility into that. We were once young and we looked at our parents strangely and thought, what are they talking about? Well, now we're at that age where we go, now I know what they were talking about, except it's a damn sight worse now than what it was. So what is the future for our families? What is the future for our kids? And if there's no work around, what are they going to do? How are they going to make themselves feel worthy? Right? Does that mean that the family unit needs to come back together? Does that mean that we need to be smarter in where we're going and what we're doing? There are so many questions. Looking forward to you guys throwing some stuff in the chat. J1 there, I think, is he says he's just going to move to Cyprus. So I'm not sure why. Is Cyprus a really good place to go to? Is it going to be cheap living? Are you going to be able to afford to live there? Is it a great environment? Who knows? But, all right, and he's retiring. Oh, so you're retiring in 2026 and then you're going to move to Cyprus. Excellent. Now, just remember that you're a guest in their house, so you have to abide by their rules, okay? Something that doesn't seem to happen over here. But for the tax benefits, here we go. What we got for the tax benefits on my crypto? You got that much crypto, you can do that. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll throw my couple of $100 in with you and you can take it over there as well, because it's not going to be much use to me at this rate. But that also depends on whether the groups that are called like sure, not futuristics, but these are guys that follow the money charts, not necessarily the 4-year cycle. They reckon that we actually haven't seen the end of the bull cycle yet. So there's a few programs on about that. A lot of people are saying that it's over, it's done with for this time round, and we have to wait for another halving. I personally don't think it's tied in with the halving anymore, and there is significant evidence that it's tied in with quantitative easing from the US government. So quantity, and if they're quantitative easing, which is what they're doing right now, because they've been quantitative tightening for the past 4+ years, if they're starting to do that now, every time they've done that in the past, Bitcoin has managed to go up significantly. So, don't know. Oh, hello, Unseed Wilderness. Nice to see you here. Thank you for joining us here on FBN and Coin Chat. This is where we basically have chats about cryptos and bits and pieces. But as I said, tonight's a little bit more philosophical. So if we're stuck on not being able to find work, not able to find a way to increase our income, how else are we going to do it? So crypto, that's one of our options. Precious metals is another, investing what we have available to us in precious metal. And like silver, hang on a sec, 2 secs. Mate, can you grab me a glass of water?
Sure.
That's my son. So just going to make him my slave temporarily. So silver, gold, precious metals, is that the way that we can build up some sort of worth? I mean, or do we put what we can into super and go into the stock market and high risk assets or low risk assets? I mean, with super, obviously a self-managed super fund's the best way to go, even though it costs you a bit to run it. It's better because you actually get to control it, not some fund manager who ends up making profit out of it. So I don't know. It's things. What's what we got here? I'm saying I started 12K a year and took a gamble and bought 2K's worth of Cardano a few years ago. Well done. What a mistake. Paid like $2.60 and it's now 45 cents. Yes. Don't worry, you're not alone there. I've got plenty where I've invested some really significant amounts of funds in there. Actually, I think I've got one on my chart here. No, I actually removed it. But I thought there's a first-person gaming program coming out that was going to be designed to use crypto. It was called Shrapnel. And, you know, like it was about, I think, 24 or 25 cents per token. And I bought quite a significant number of those. And I took it off the chart just then because when I looked at it, it was 0.001 something cents. So, yeah, understand exactly how that works. But that is why I'm saying, is it a gamble or is it not? I'm disabled with spinal cord injury. Tried to make dollars on the side on Twitch. The IRS came after me for a $100 check. You've got to be kidding me. Governments, they want their share and everything. And the same here with the crypto too here in Australia. They're going to be monitoring everything we sell and everything we do. I still have serious challenges with the way they look at it. Like if you transfer from one crypto token to another crypto token, they want the sale difference in tax. And I was like, pardon? That's like changing from US dollars to Australian dollars. You know? But there's examples out there where people have actually taken a bit of a plunge on something and seen how it goes. So once again, I'll bring this one back up for you and put me back into this stage and take Unseed Wilderness off. So this particular one here is the one that I've been looking at, which as I was talking about was Numbers Protocol. The idea came to me that how do we determine right, what is real and what is fake now? And if we go looking through YouTube and looking through people who are streaming and whatever, we are seeing content that is now so AI created, it's very, very difficult to determine who is real and who's fake. And there has to be some way. So I'm thinking, this is a niche. This is something that, yeah, you can switch the light on. Make me even brighter. Damn it, I was doing a nice quiet in the back fireplace, but I'm only kidding. This is something that we have to look at, and you're going to say to yourself, how do we now work out what's truth and what is fiction? Because current AI can take any clip of me, Carl, Joel, anybody, and add a synthesized voice to it that sounds exactly like them, get the lip syncing working absolutely perfectly, and you would look at something that is being said and they haven't actually said that. Right? There's been examples. There's a medical doctor out there who's at this stage full on having a meltdown because they've used her image and her voice to promote something that she would never promote. So how do we determine that? And I'm thinking there has to be a way of doing that. Now, Numbers Protocol has got that option where they're going to set up sort of a digital ID so that every time that you produce something, you sign it with the digital ID and it is added to the blockchain. So any video can be verified simply because it's on the blockchain, and the only body that can add it to the blockchain is you, the creator who did it. And I think that's a good idea, and which is one of the reasons why I decided to go and buy into it. Now, admittedly, I did buy into it, but only just recently. So that means that I think I bought my first lot here in November. Let's just expand this out. Right. This is still a fairly new organization. So understand it does not have a lot of backing years. So I bought in around here somewhere for a small amount. And I do mean a small amount, like only $10. But when you're talking about 0.00 or 0.007 of a cent or something when I bought it, I got quite a few tokens from that. And then recently I went back in and bought some more down around here. So if we look at that, at the moment, I'm buying on the downward trend. Now, is that a smart idea? I don't know. Is it? Is it a gamble? So, I'm buying while it's doing this. And let's take it from that point there through there. It's definitely on a downward slope. But they seem to be active. There's a bit of development going on in it. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe. And then we can see here that it is starting to trend out a bit just here. So is this a gamble that I'm taking? Yeah. Is it a gamble that might pay off down the track? I think so, because I think there's going to be a niche here that needs to be worked on and developed on down the track. Hence the reason why I've done that Numbers Protocol. And I'm probably going to buy a little more of that. I'm also going to go and buy some stuff like BTC, which is currently, after the recent figures from popped out from America, right, dropped down, which we knew that would occur, and pop back up over that little while. Now, is BTC finished? Don't think so. Is Ethereum finished? In fact, it's actually interesting to note. I don't have the daily averages. I wonder if I can do that here. BTCD, which is dominance. BTC dominance. That's the dominance chart at the moment for BTC. And what we're actually seeing is that it's starting to drop in dominance. Now, That's the opposite to what's happened every other time we've started to go into a bear market. BTC usually goes up when we hit a bear market, not down. So that's an interesting flag. But Ethereum, and it's not showing me my EMAs on here. Where is it? Refresh. No, it's not going to show me that. That's a bit of a shame. Trouble with the basic plan, I can't actually. Oh yeah, there's the EMA, red EMA. Right. So if we go back to BTC, right, we can see that BTC here is under that red one is the 50-day EMA moving average, right? That's under that. But if we were to go and have a quick look at Ethereum, in this chart, it's showing us a bit under. Let's go check the 12-hour chart on that. Close. Come on. Behave yourself. Really? We can see that Ethereum is starting to move up above the 21-day and now starting to move up into the Ethereum chart, up into the 50 moving day average. So if we see that Ethereum gets past that 50-day moving average to the positive and BTC is to the negative, then that indicates that the more susceptible, the more gamblish type coins and tokens are now starting to make their play. So that's something that would be worthwhile looking at. All right, put my face back on the mat, and beautiful. That actually worked. I'll have to remember how to do that next time. Just have a quick look in what's going on over here in the chat. All night in Victoria. Here is the same in South Australia. Here we've got a nice cool breeze at the moment going on. DTCC is going full live tokenized mid-26. Yeah, I saw something about that. I actually need to investigate that a little bit more about what's going on there. Welcome, Silver Fox. It's still chugging away, just to let you know, mate. We're well in the billions now. So anyway, that's between me and Silver Fox. He'll know what that's about. So what is it that we should start looking at? It looks like this is a great time to invest in altcoins, but I'm not an expert. That's where I was trying to head with partially in this program. But which altcoins, right? What is a niche? What is something that is out there out of the millions upon let's go to crypto. Let's do this. Right, and let's go up here, CoinGecko. Right, there is 19,173. Zoom right in on that, if we can. Come out. Oh, really? That's not nice. I zoomed in too far. Right. Where is our coins? Come on. There we are, right up the top. 19,173 various coins that we can choose from. How the hell do we choose? What is it that you think that we can look at that may be relative? Okay, so J1's telling us the Ripple Bank got approved today. I don't need to do a show. I should just come on here and let you guys tell me all the news. This works really well. So I've had Cardano for a while, and I've actually managed to sell Cardano and made a profit on that, but I still hold Cardano today. And, of course, that's now running as a loss. But if we look down here and see what's going on, see Cardano, there it is, 88. It's 41 cents at the moment. So, but it had been significantly higher than that over time. Solana is a place that is worthwhile investing on. If you can grab some Solana, I reckon that's a good idea. And I always hold Doge because Doge does funny things just because it wants to. It's a meme coin. What can you expect? So In that, Cardano eventually will do fine. It's been around long enough that it's going to continue to exist. That's the thing about Cardano. Once they gain themselves a couple of really decent contracts, I think it's going to go quite okay. But out of everything, what do we choose? So once again, let's go to Banter Bubbles and have a look. Okay, so this is Banter Bubbles, and once again we want to go over here to our filter, and we want to go to narratives. So narratives is the point that we look at. So what are we seeing in these ones that we think are going to have any sort of real effect for people like you and me who probably aren't going to work again or get a job again, and have to survive on what we have? Where do you think the niches are? That is the question that I'm trying to raise. Right? Where do you think the niches are in this sort of a business? What is it that we're going to be looking at? Now, personally, if we're going to have a whole heap of people that are sitting around trying to find something to do to entertain themselves, they don't have a huge amount of money, they're not going to be able to afford to go out, they might be walled off in 15-minute cities where they literally can't leave. What is it that they could possibly do? So gaming or GameFi, that might be something that's worth looking at or investing some in. And we need to ask ourselves, what sort of options do we have there? Right? If we're going to do something in crypto, we can invest our tokens or invest our money into crypto, or we could actually invest it into some other sort of gaming company. Now, my son works for a couple of gaming companies. He's actually right into programming and doing that sort of stuff for them. So that field is huge. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. But most of these places, unless they've gone into the share market side of it, you can't really purchase or get into. So that can be a bit of a challenge if buying shares, if you want to do that. And the thing about shares is it's exactly the same as crypto, but just running on a slower scale. You're still taking a risk. Is it still going to be something that's going to bring it out? See, this Beat, I've never heard of Beat before at all. So let's have a quick look. All right, when did it start? 1st of November was when it started of this year. And it started off at 8 cents and is now currently running at 2.50, which is an excellent proof or an excellent go up. What else have we got? See, I've got some Beam. I can tell you I've got Beam. And if you look at Beam, right, and Beam's been around for a while. I bought it up here. It's down there somewhere. So, don't feel ashamed. Everybody's doing it. And we learn by our mistakes. Now, do I think Beam is a throwaway? Maybe not. It may come back. There is always a possibility. It's dropped 96%. But if the altcoins start to move, or if our world changes in such a format that we need to start looking at various other ways of entertaining people around the world. Because remember, there's only 7 billion of us, right, that need to be entertained. So maybe gaming is one of those options. Right? What's another one? Well, we know for a fact, and I've brought this up, this guy, AI, right? AI is going to be such a benefit to us, but also such a disastrous, destructive force to human society. Now, remember, I've been in computers for years, and I know that the benefits that we can use as a tool, absolutely fantastic. But society-wise, I think it's going to be a real challenge. Imagine for every receptionist that's out there who earns their living by going as a receptionist, right, to work 40 hours a week or 36 hours a week, being that nice, polite face of the company, all of a sudden gets replaced by an automated AI system on a phone. Right? There goes that person's job. Why? Well, AI is much, much cheaper to run. So the company's going to do that. They're not thinking about the employee, they're thinking about their profits. So is there some way that we can benefit from that? Is there, if we're going to play it smart, is there something that we can do that? Is there some way that we can look at other options that AI are going to fill and use that tool to our advantage so that we can invest somewhat more wisely? Is there a trend that we're moving, to in AI that we can look at? These are the things you have to start thinking of. You have to start looking for something that's going to occur, a problem or a challenge that's going to occur in the future that somebody has to come up with an idea to solve. Now, what would those challenges be in the future that an idea could actually solve? And if we can find something that's hitting that early in the market, right, then we can get somewhere. Now, I've noticed this one here, truth. What is truth? It's ranked 900 sorting market cap. How long has it been around? Been a while. October, 1st of October 25. So that. This is new as well, which is why it's got its high spike and then it's dropped right down. It has an X protocol. I'm going to click on that, see what that tells me. Not so sure I'm keen on the symbol. The world's first privacy-preserving Oracle layered powered by truth. Private and verified data. Why Swarm Networks is doubling down on what matters. When we launched the Swarm Network, our mission was clear: to build a protocol that tracks and verifies truth. Question is, how does it verify truth? And is it the truth they want you to hear, or is it the real truth? That's the next question. And in doing so, exposes the lies distorting our shared realities. That mission remains the same. Okay, so here's a partial promise. This is going back down along the lines that I was talking about. How do we verify that the person we're seeing on the net is actual person? And what is they're saying is the actual truth. So that one I am interested in about. Maybe investigating that further. Would I buy it right now? Oh, that's a really good question. If we go back and look at the chart here, right? It's got down, it nearly lost 4.8 down to 1, so it went down quarter, but always expect that in the first initial bounce, but it has since then bounced up. So what do we got? Down here, December the 10th, it's managed to get up there on the 11th. It pretty much doubled. Now it's back down and it's back up. So truth might be worth entertaining or looking at further. I wonder if we can find it inside our chart here. Is that the one there? Looks like it might be. This is a perpetual chart, which means they're doing some gambling, but we'll just have a look. And for some reason, I've got something on here. Oh, that's a what? That's not truth. My apologies. That's me playing around with that. Let's try this again. Come on. Okay. All right. Maybe not. Truth. Perpetual. I can only see perpetual. Swarm Networks. Here we go. On Mexi. They've got it. All right. So now we can see what we're looking for. All right. And this is on the daily chart here, where they've started, where they've come down. So we do not have a lot of data on here because it's only going from this point. So once again, it's a quiet sort of new starting company. But I think this is, this is what we need to start looking at and taking a shot at. And, at a price that's currently, what are we looking at there? Just a bit over a cent, 2 cents American. Maybe we could do that. Maybe that is an option to actually look at doing. So that's part of what we're talking about. Damn, I've been talking for 41 seconds. I wish it was only 41 seconds. 41 minutes. What else we got here? I think Flare is a good bet. Now, I think you mentioned that before, King Dut. So we'll just have a quick look at that. I do want to spend a little bit of time chatting in ChatGTP and see what it comes up with. Let's have a look at Flare. Flare to US dollar. It's on Bitstamp. And OKX. We'll just use that one there to give me a bit of a chart. Did it change? No. Come on. Flare. Hasn't added it. Give me a chart. Give me a chart. Bitstamp. Coinbase. It's on Coinbase. That's doing comparisons. Damn it. My apologies. I'm hitting the wrong thing. Compare symbols. Not what I want. That's what I want. My apologies, guys. Didn't say I was a perfect charter. So where did I say? Coinbase. Let's go there. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. So having a look at Flares, so has been around for quite a while. Since last year, at least since they started charting it since last year. And right now, it's at a nice little purchasing price. It's actually almost hit bottom. So if we look at that, I'll take another one and we'll go where we see something that's correlated. There. All right, let's run that sequence of events from there. So we're sort of in the upper trough of that one there, which means that I would probably take one more line and run it basically about there. Right. So that's our trough. So it's bouncing there. So it's coming down here. What are the chances that it's going to break down in this and actually hit its all-time low? Its all-time high up there was quite good. I want that in US dollars. Thank you. And it changed and took all my lines off the chart. Thank you very much. So, I need to get rid of these trash. Now it might behave itself and give me the US dollars. Thank you. Yeah, a bit under 1 cent. There. So why do you like that one? What do you think that's important about that one? Is it because it's just an ISO 20022 coin? Is that why? Or do you think it has some purpose? I mean, there's plenty of coins out there that are compatible with that particular ISO. But does that mean that they have something that is actually worthwhile? Does it mean that they've got some problem that they're solving? That's why I'm wondering. Because I mean, there's lots of various coins. I told you there's heaps and heaps out there. But is that something that's worth solving? Does it have something that's worth solving? Yep. What do we got here? Yep. It's the only thing that it has going. Ah, okay. So we've got one person saying that that's all it's got going for it. What else we got coming back through the chat here? Apparently people have had trouble finding it. XDC. I haven't got it sitting on here, but XDC should be somewhere in this first little lot here. Where are we? New protocol, Athena, probably passed it. Well, okay, control find, XDC. Ah, well, that's interesting. Okay, click, search, XDC. XDC networks, there it is. $104. So it's popped off the first 100 chart. Okay. So that's why it's XTC. It's still there. It's still running, and it's still attached with all of the relevant bits and pieces for it. Right, circulating supply is quite huge. Total supply is absolutely outstanding. Yeah. Wow. And it still has a market cap, and quite significant market cap. And what's that? $27 million of daily volume trading. So, who knows? Who knows? New comments. Let's get down there. I remember. So I remember like a year ago, Trump Jr. was. So yeah, he's fairly well into crypto and knows a fair amount. But once again, they may have all been talking in amongst themselves on who it is that they're talking, and he may have mentioned it for some reason or another. Let's just do this. Let's just jump into chat Sorry, guys, didn't realize that I had kicked myself when I went off. Stop trying to trigger me with the pictures. Sorry, mate. I was saying that we've got Fetch AI here. A lot of these AIs are built with this on Ethereum blocks, and anybody who has watched this program for a while would know I do not like AI. I do not like it at all. So all is silent. All is silent. So, but if a project is worth it, then yeah, right, I would look at it. And I know where I went wrong. It was probably because I went there, and you can still hear me there because the microphone's still talking, but I was looking at the other screen, so that was my problem. So Fetch AI is that for oh, that's XDC networks. Let's go. That one, ETH. And have a quick look. Oh, it's on a terminal. I don't want to go there. Let's get back out of that. Fetch. Wealth USDC. Is that going to throw me to terminal? I think that's going to throw me to terminal as well. Yeah, it is. Pain in the butt. But anyway. And that's showing 25 cents. That's interesting. That's not what that showed. We don't know. And that's the problem with this. You need to start digging around, trying to find various bits and pieces, and even people with experience get lost, like I just did. Okay, I'm going to go to CoinMarketCap then. See if we can find it from there. Okay, let's see if we can find Fetch in here. Give me. Really? Cookies, accept cookies, because they've changed everything. Close, search. Fetch. Fetch AI. Is that the valid Fetch AI though? I would suggest probably not, because it's only 106K. What's this one? This is the right one. See how there was an alternate contract on the ETH network for that? So if I had clicked into that contract, that would have been the wrong one. So just be aware of things like that. So this is Fetch AI. Updated token info. There's a website. Let's click on the website. Really? I don't like it when things like that happen. Now, could that be that our government is trying to stop us from actually doing stuff? Let's see if we got a white paper. We have a white paper. Go away, puppy dog. On March the 6th, 2020, aims to be the first mover in the field of permissions and DeFi staking, so decentralized financing. All right, our mission. So at least we've got something there. Tokenomics is there. Man, look at the supply. Million. I can't even say that. That's way too much. Useful links. All right, the Etherscan token, and also what looks like programming links. New trade interface. Now, where are you taking us? Okay. No, I'm fine with that. Okay, it's taking me to Dex Tools, where I can actually monitor what's going on with the actual bits and pieces. All right, so once again, it's all about doing the research on what's going on there. Let's go back to what our initial thing that sent us all on a wild goose chase, right? So it's also talking about privacy, sovereignty, and censorship resistance. Ethereum and modular scaling. See, DeFi. Well, DeFi is going to be a big thing. That's decentralized finance. There's a lot of companies already in the decentralized finance view or field. So I'm always cautious in that area straight away, because when there's a flood, it's like when the .com era happened. There was a flood of everything, but only 5 or 6 or 7 of those made it through that flood. The rest all went bust, right? So it's that 5%, 95% rule. So we want to pick an area where there's going to be a limited amount of 95%, so that we have more chances of winning that 5% rule. Okay. Infrastructure picks and shovels, non-consumer plays. All right, so narratives that to be careful with. This is interesting. Meme coins, yep. ETH killers without real adoption. GameFi with no active users. That being the point, no active users. So that's one of the ways of testing that. High APY yield farms. Now, APY or staking is another place where you can actually stick your coins and basically earn interest on it. Most of the time, anytime I've ever staked anything, I've usually come out of it not much better off than what I went in with it. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. If it had to rank by conviction, Bitcoin, hard money, RWA, Ethereum, AI, privacy, and experimental narratives. And from in here, from this one question, we can now start to delve down deeper and look at things further. But right now, I have actually managed to do an hour, which is surprising for me. Too much gas bagging, not enough information. But I do want you to start looking along lines of saying, hey, where do we go from here? What is going to be our future? What is going to be the future for our kids as well? Because don't forget, we've still got our kids that we have to look after. All right, whether they like it or not. They might be full-grown adults, but they're still our kids, right? Isn't that right, kid? He wasn't even listening to me. Isn't that right, kid? Just say yes.
I'd like to know what I'm saying yes to.
And that's why he's an adult. All right, so effectively, right, we have to try and put something aside for their futures as well. Whether they like us to or not, I believe that's our job to do that. Wave as you go past. Missed. Never mind. That's right, you didn't show. Coffee. I'd love a coffee. Thank you very much. All right. So what do we got here? EFTs will be another. Yeah, that's true. Got silver. What got silver on 30x leverage now? Wish I did it earlier. Silver. What silver? Bill? Mr. Bill? How can you be purchasing silver on 30x leverage? Unless you're buying a token that represents silver. Right, but that's the only thing that you can be doing. And 30x is fairly high. I personally would not do that, right, because it can be taken out fairly quickly. A 3, maybe a 5x max. Just depends on where your stop losses and stuff are. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay, what do we got here? Now, because I've got physical silver and crypto silver, AGC for ratio swaps. Now, unless you trust the company that you've got for tokenized silver, like if you were using Ainsley Bullion, for instance, their tokens for anything that they have tokenized is guaranteed they also have the silver for. But you can't guarantee that of all companies. So always do your research. Okay. Any bullion dealers? What's this? Any bullion dealers people can recommend? Well, Ainsley Bullion, I recommend them 100%. They've always been good with us. You can find them in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and the Gold Coast somewhere as well, I think. So, yes, Ainsley Bullion at ainsley-bullion.com.au. Find them very easily on the net, and they are great people to deal with. So there's a promo out for them, yet another gratis free promo for them. So good on them. I've also used an Adelaide dealer if you're in Adelaide, and they were excellent for us as well. I can't think of what their name is at the moment, but when I bought my silver back a bit a while ago, which I was very proud of because now it's like 200% more than what it was when I bought it. Yeah, just shop around. Oh, there we are. We have already specified in the thing. Ainsley Bullion. There we go. Thanks, Peg's Place. Yes, Vince. What's this? Always about our kids. 100% it is. And, you know, we might only have a few years left on this world, but they've got quite a lot more than us. So we need to be careful on what we're doing. What's this one down here? Yeah. No, yeah. Okay, so if it's on CoinSpot, you can't. I believe you can exchange it at Ainsley's. Is that right? If you've purchased silver from CoinSpot, wow. Okay, I'm learning stuff here. All right. Let's leave it at that, guys. I appreciate you coming and spending some time with me, you 12 viewers that we've had, and thank you very much for watching it through to the end. That's going to help with the algorithm. We've got our 500 plus for the FBN network. Now we just need to get the 3,000 watch hours up. So there's 12 more towards the 3,000 watch hours. So thank you very much for that. Please remember, guys, that everything that we do out there, we have to be cautious of. Please remember that everything that we look at, we have to treat with some sort of skepticism. And please remember that no matter what you do, right, keep the faith. Whether that be the faith in your judgment, the faith in the world, faith in God. Keep the faith. So with that, fellas and ladies, and any other people who wish to nominate themselves as something totally different, which I don't fully understand, I wish you a fair, good, and fair good night. So I just need to hit this thing here. See you all.